Hi guys, we are here today to talk about why I don't have videos of my dogs struggling. Now, and we're going to talk about this specifically as it relates to Leave It today as our ongoing example. So if you're struggling with Leave It specifically or want to see videos, we're going to get to that. Now, I get requests for this all the time in our online academy, which is open for enrollment until September 9th. That link is in the description if anyone is interested in learning more. Um, I get a request from this for Academy members. I get requests for this on YouTube and in our Facebook group, Train Your Service Dog with Confidence. I get this request all the time, right? The people want to see videos of me working a dog through a challenge in which the dog is struggling, right? And I understand that because it's a very good learning experience for the people. All of these things, right? There's lots of reasons that we want to see videos of trainers working with dogs who are actively struggling. However, I don't have a lot of videos of dogs struggling. And it isn't because I don't work with dogs who have some pretty big challenges. It isn't because, I've worked with dogs who can't focus around cats, can't even look at their owners around cats. Dogs who are barking at other dogs, all of these really big challenges. It's not that I don't work with those dogs, okay? It's that I make sure to do a few things to make sure that the dogs never get to that point anyway. I don't wait for the dogs I'm working with to begin drowning before I try and throw them a life vest. Okay, we are very much more proactive than that. Now, today we're going to work through a Leave It example. Because I wanted to work through a video example and show you guys exactly what I mean by this. But I also want to let you know that if you want to see another example of this exact same thing, our free 4-part workshop all about healing, those replays are available now until September 9th. So if you're watching this before September 9th, 2021, then you can find those replays in the description of this video. There's a link for our healing workshop. And in part 3, we very specifically worked through a similar thing to this, but with barking at other dogs. So Leo had gone through this phase where he couldn't heal past other dogs who were barking at him because it was too exciting, and so he would kind of start to bark at them instead. And so that whole how I worked through that is in part 3 of that healing workshop. If you're watching this live replay before the end of the day on September 9th, 2021. So just want to put that out there. There's another way to see. You can see another example of this is what I'm trying to say. Now, there are a few things. Hold on, I'm just trying to find a couple of my slides here. So this came up in our healing workshop as a recurring theme, okay? This idea of setting our dogs up for success in multiple ways. Now, this is one of my favorite dog training quotes. So Steve White said, "Dogs do not fail, they perform as trained. When dogs fail, or dogs fail when we ask them to perform that for which we have not adequately prepared them." And this is why I don't have a lot of videos of my dogs struggling. I do have videos of dogs making mistakes. I have videos of me making mistakes, but I don't have videos of dogs, quote unquote, struggling, because I won't put a dog in a situation that he doesn't have the skills for. And usually those prerequisite skills, they can be trained quite quickly. So I'm going to show you a video of Kenzie. And we're gonna watch this video, and then we're gonna talk about a few things, and then we're gonna watch it again. Now, this video came about when I had Academy members very specifically asking me for video examples of how to teach a dog to maintain a Leave It. So once you've said Leave It, right, and gotten your cookie, don't go straight back for that thing, right? Like I said, Leave It, the thing is on the floor, now leave it, and don't go back to it. And so this was what Academy members wanted to see. And I think that some of them were hoping to see a dog who actively struggles quite a bit more than you're going to see Kenzie struggle. But you're going to see it not go perfectly. But so that is what we're trying to do here. So this dog already knows how to leave it. She knows that cue, and you're going to see her respond to the cue. But you're not going to see her actively struggle in this video. So let's watch this video quick, and then we're going to go and we're going to talk about a couple of things. And so I threw a piece of hot dog into the grass. That's what she's looking at here. Down. Down. And you can see her, she still looks over at it occasionally, but she's not trying to drag me there. She's not ignoring cues, nothing like that. So here's another one. and this time we're going to walk away from it. So this was the video example of the very first stage of teaching a dog to kind of, I can't think of the exact word that I'm looking for, but like maintain that leave it, right? Like I've said leave it, now leave it forever and don't go back to it. This is the very first stage. With a more advanced dog, we wouldn't have to treat so many times in a row, right? This is the first time Kenzie has ever done this exercise, ever. Now, the reason that we don't see her try and drag me to the hot dogs, we don't see her fixate on the hot dogs, we don't see her start to ignore me, we don't see any of those behaviors, just for a few reasons, okay? So first, I'm always going to make sure that the dog has the prerequisite skills that he needs, okay? So I'm always going to make sure that my dog already has the skills he needs to be successful in this situation. So in this video, in this type of scenario, the things that Kenzie needs to understand are what leave it is. Like, she needs to know the cue. I'm not going to teach leave it this way, okay? This is like a proofing leave it type of example. She needs to know what happens when the leash goes tight. If the leash goes tight and she feels that in her collar, because she's only wearing a flat collar here, she could certainly try and drag me there. What should she do if she feels pressure in her collar? Okay, that significantly helped her be successful here. She needs to know that looking at me is something that is going to pay off very heavily. She needs to have a very fluent behavior of looking at me. And she also needs to know whatever other behaviors I'm going to ask her to do. So what I'm doing in that video is I say leave it, and then I continue to click and treat for looking at me, and then I start to ask for other behaviors and reinforce those with a very high rate of reinforcement as well. Because I'm trying to teach her in that video, and we're going to watch it a couple more times, is that there is more reinforcement for leaving that alone long term than there is going for it, okay? And then once she gets it, we'll lower that rate of reinforcement. So one of the things we've also talked about in the healing workshop, that link is in the description of this video, consistently, is that in the beginning, we give a lot of food for learning. Once the dog understands, we start to fade those treats out, right? So when I have a new dog in public, they get treats for healing, like rapid fire treats, right? And then now, you know, Leo's almost ready to move in with his handler, and he gets like almost no treats for healing in public, like almost none. So we can maintain that rate of reinforcement forever. That's one of the big pushbacks I get when people see early training videos, is they go, well, yeah, but your dog is, getting so many treats, and I don't want to have to give so many treats. That's just for the learning stage. So when it comes to making sure that the dog has the prerequisite skills that they need, and I will make sure that our training pyramid video or link gets in the description of this video as well when I'm done here, because I'm just going to fly through it really quick. But there's a full version that you can download. And this is kind of the general order which we train things. So I like to think about foundation training, and if you followed me a while, you know this, as kind of a pyramid, right? Where the base layer is the biggest, it's the thickest, it's the most important. Okay, this is what gives me a nice firm training structure that doesn't fall over the moment I ask the dog to do something they've never done before. So stage 1 is that bottom one. This is handler skills, focus, prerequisites for things like healing and tasks, etc., etc. In this stage, if we're talking about healing, or if we're talking about leave it, I am not actually going to teach a leave it in stage 1 here at the very bottom of my pyramid. I'm not actually going to teach a leave it. I'm going to teach the skills necessary for a leave it. So again, looking at me, what to do when she feels pressure on her collar, something like Susan Garrett's It's Your Choice game where we have treats in our hand. Those are all going to be like level 1 pyramid type exercises. Then when we put those all together and we train a leave it for the first time, the dog goes, I know this, we've been doing this for a week, right? Because they already have the skills needed. And for me, super quick, leave it means look at me. When I ask a dog to leave it, it does not mean don't eat that. It means look at me. Because then it works for when they're trying to eat something, when they're trying to pull towards something, when they're just staring at something. I could use the word watch or something, but my human brain is more likely to say leave it, right? So it's a better cue for me. So then stage 2 in a pyramid, this is where we get into basic obedience, in quotes, CGC training, healing, pet-friendly stores, task training, more foundations and some basic skills there. This is where I'm actually going to teach a leave it and begin to proof it is in stage 2. So I'm going to teach the leave it, and then I'm probably going to do that exercise that we're going to watch again with Kenzie here in stage 2. Stage 3 is where we start to get into public access behaviors, task training, advanced obedience. This is where I'm really, if we're talking about leave it, this is where I'm getting to things like don't take food that humans are offering you, because that shouldn't happen in public, but it does. Like kids, but even adults will like try to hand our dogs pieces of food, and we don't want them to take it. So in stage 3, so stage 1, I teach a bunch of prerequisite skills for a leave it. In stage 2, we start to teach the leave it itself, including the leave it on the ground. In stage 3, we're really getting into advanced leave it's, like walk over popcorn that has been spilled everywhere. Don't take food from a stranger, stuff like that, right? And then stage 4 is really just about advanced tasks, advanced public access, and a public access test. So this is where we're going to do any final proofing on that leave it, and we're going to actually test the leave it. So this is how I organize skills for a leave it over the course of however many weeks or months. This is not something we just do right away. I like to give my dogs all those skills that they need ahead of time. Now again, if you want to see this same idea applied to healing, make sure that you check out that healing workshop, because those replays are only available until the midnight on the 9th of September. And that link is in the description of this video. And then if you want, my help, our academy is our full training pyramid broken down into a full step-by-step course. So if you want in on the academy, remember that closes, registration for that closes on September 9th at midnight Central Time. We will not be opening again until March of 2022, so keep that in mind. But that link is in the description as well. So along with making sure that my dog has the skills that they need, I am also going to set the dog up to succeed in the training session. Okay, so this is where I'm going to think about things like what treats am I using? How far away from the distraction am I? What environment am I training in? Splitting my criteria down, using that high rate of reinforcement we talked about a minute ago. I'm actually going to set the dog up for success in the training session. And don't wait until your dog is drowning, okay? Change things as soon as they begin to struggle. So in this video, if Kenzie hadn't responded to that leave it right away, I would not have waited for her to start dragging me towards the treats. I would have instantly changed something about the situation so that she could be successful. I might have moved farther away. We might have just ended the session, and I might have just done like a regroup, like, okay, do we need to change our treats? Does she need a different prerequisite skill? What went wrong, right? But I'm not going to wait for her to begin dragging me with all of her might to the treat. So we're going to watch this video again. So there you can see, okay, I'm going to start it, we're going to go through it a few times, but she does, let me start it again. She does pull towards it at the beginning, but she isn't dragging me there. Okay? She responds to the leave it cue instantly. And while she does continue to look over at the treat, she also looks back at me, because she has that prerequisite skill that already nice and strong and fluent, that looking at me is a really good way to earn reinforcement, okay? She also already knows all these behaviors that I'm asking of her. So for prerequisite skills, you can see she knows what to do when the collar goes tight, or the leash goes tight, she feels it on her collar. She knows how to offer me eye contact to earn lots of treats, and she knows how to walk with me, okay? And she knows how to lay down, and she knows these types of things. Setting her up for success, I've done in a couple of ways. First of all, she's on a leash, so she can't get to that treat, okay? That's one thing. Secondly, I am throwing hot dogs, but I'm also reinforcing with hot dogs. So she is getting a really high level reinforcer for ignoring that hot dog that I just threw. Now, as we train through this process, we will vary that, okay? But in the beginning, I want to use a really high-value reinforcer. I'm also marking and reinforcing very, very quickly, okay? You don't have to use a clicker, but you do want to use a marker, and I have YouTube videos on that. We have our clicker training ebook on that. We have more information on that in the healing workshop. You don't need to use a clicker, but you do need to be using a marker of some kind. I use a clicker because I like it, but it also shows up really well on video like this, so you can really hear it. Speaking of which, the marker would be a prerequisite skill for this. So that's another one of those prerequisite skills. And so that's how I've set the dog up to succeed. And then again, like I said, I don't wait for her to really drag me towards that treat, right? If she had started dragging me towards the treat, if she hadn't been able to respond to that leave it cue, I would not have continued the training session. We would have changed something so that she could be successful. I've got a fly. That's why I keep going like this. There's just a fly buzzing around my head. And so you can see how quickly she does figure this out, and it doesn't look like it was hard. It doesn't look like she struggled. Was it perfect? No, she still went for the food. She looked back at the food occasionally. I'm using a very high rate of reinforcement. This is not, in quotes, perfect yet. This is her very first training session with it. But she isn't struggling. She's not dragging me there. So if you check out that healing workshop, you can see the same thing with Leo, where so early in the spring we found for the first time that he started to struggle with dogs who were barking at him. And this happened because he's really great with dogs who are dogs in general. He can ignore them, no problem. He could also handle one dog barking, but we were out at like a really busy outdoor location, and we came across like 4 reactive dogs, like in a row. Like within 20 minutes, we had 4 dogs barking and lunging at him. And over the course of that interaction, he stopped healing. He started refusing treats. And at the last one, he actually, I got a huff. Like, he was actually ready to bark back at that other dog. And so in that healing workshop, I actually show you the steps that we took to teach him to heal around dogs who are barking at him. And I've got all the videos in that healing workshop. So if you want to see another example of this, or as this applies to healing and working through distractions or something like that, check out that healing workshop. And then, of course, like I said, the Academy is open for enrollment until September 9th at 11:59 Central Standard Time. And then we will not be opening again until March 1st of 2022. So it's going to be a while before we open the doors again. And in that course, in our Academy, which is a monthly membership site, or you can pay yearly now, it's up to you, we have thought all of this out for you. All of the skills are in the correct order, so you don't have to guess which order in which to train things to work around distractions, or to teach a task, or to teach healing, or to teach a solid stay. Because we have already put all of the skills in the correct order inside the core curriculum inside the Academy. So if you have any questions about that, you can let us know in the comments here. You can also send an email to servicedogs@mydogandmellc.com. But that registration does close, like I said, September 9th at 11:59 Central Standard Time. That is also when the healing workshop replays will move inside the Academy, so that we can really focus on our new students. So if you want to check out that healing workshop, make sure that you do that in the next few days here as well. So that is all that I have for you guys today. Let us know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I will see you guys later. Have a good day.